Right, so Stillmate, if you have my stream open, you can look if there's any questions you want to answer as well, and I'll try to pick questions out of the chat.
Yep.
So, first of all, I think everyone is pretty interested in how long is your playtime?
I'll just scroll up. 8 days, 11 hours, 52 minutes, and 33 seconds. So
Wow.
just under 8.5 days.
So, how did you do it with balancing sleep and everything like that? Did you try to sleep as little as possible, or?
Um, During the first week, when I was really trying to push for rank 1, obviously I was like top 5 or whatever, I slept as little as possible. I did longer play sessions. I was playing like 30 hours a day. I mean, a session. But obviously when Havoc died, I couldn't stay awake at that point. I don't know, it's harder to stay awake
Yeah.
when there's no competition. Of course, obviously there's, it's up in you, but at that point I'd established a pretty large lead after Havoc died, so.
When Havoc started pushing again and started getting up in levels, did you get scared, or were you pretty confident that you were gonna hit the 100 first?
He was XPing incredibly fast. I did have a lot of maps, as you already know. I'm not sure how it would have gone if he hadn't ripped. I mean, he had more DPS than me, I'm pretty sure. So, it's hard to say.
Yeah. Lazira is asking, what is the best way to race to maps? Did you do the quests or just grind specific areas to reach certain levels?
Um, you just want to get to Aqueducts and Merciless as quick as possible, really. Like, once you're there, you can sort out your build, get your gear working. Like, that's when I switched to Poison Arrow. Around level 70 at the end of Aqueducts, and, yeah.
And Julia is asking, do you have any prior racing experience? And did you plan to go for number one, or is this just something that happened?
Yeah. I usually race every now and then in the race seasons, but I've also, like a year ago, there was another 1 month, and I hit 100 first there as well. So it's not my first time, so to speak. But no, I wasn't actually planning on hitting 100 this time. I think I spoke to Rise. I actually have uni stuff to do,
Mhm.
and I've kind of I'm kind of screwed now.
Yeah, I can imagine. Caboose was asking earlier, I'm not sure if he's still here, how you were rolling your maps and how you found it sustaining a map pool and actually how you managed to sustain such a big map pool.
My first map was the Tropical Island, and I alped it. I've been alping maps since '68, and I was chiseling. I remember I had like one orchard map, and I was putting my sacrifice pieces in there. Like I just wanted to. I knew I had to climb to the highest maps as quick as possible. I find that once you get up to 75s, for example, you'll have all the 73s you need, and once you get to 76s, you'll have 74s, and so on
Mhm.
and so forth. Like once I hit my 79s, I had like 4 rows of 77s, just because they do drop -2 a lot, but that's alright when it's at that level.
So were you doing your highest maps that you could, or were you like going down in levels and like grinding up like a big map pool?
Now, I grinded like a massive map pool. I was doing 76s at like 96, I think.
Yeah.
97. I, I just really wanted to get that base. I didn't feel like I needed to do my high level maps at the time.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. I
Yeah.
was personally very
I also,
unlucky with cartos and stuff like that. How about you? Did you have any
yeah.
cartographers?
The day you got your first Kato, I also got my first Kato, I think.
Alright, okay, I thought you had one before that.
Yeah. No, that was the first one I got. The day you got, I got the +3 Kato, and you got the +3 Kato, I think.
Alright, yeah. So
Yeah.
Quicksilver is asking if you Valor maps or if you just Alk and Chaos them.
Just Alpha and Chaos. I just never tried Varlorbing them, and after a certain point, I mean, I didn't want to Varlorb my 79 maps because they are quite dangerous solo. I didn't
Um,
have Enfeeble, so.
about damage modifiers and stuff like that. Since you're Poison Arrow, did you run basically any map as like good as you could get it, or did you try to play it pretty safe with no damage mods?
Uh, when I was pushing against Rise, I would run whatever. Like, obviously there were limits to that, but for the most part, I would run whatever. Um, After a while, I'd say during the flashback weekend when everything was crazy, I only ran one damage mod. I limited myself to just one.
Exhoratory is asking, why do you have Flame Dash in your cast on damage taken setup? It seems super risky.
I've actually leveled it up just out of range, so it doesn't actually proc.
Well, I'm just gonna get you in group here. What snack have you been munching to keep you going?
A lot of noodles.
That's not healthy.
I mean, I'd have one cooked meal a day, so it wasn't too bad.
A guy's asking for your gear. Could you at least link me your bow so I can show it on stream?
I'll just pull up my profile in a second.
Okay, that'd be great.
It's public.
So, do you plan on playing more the rest of this league, or are you pretty much done now?
I'm definitely done. I'll have that uni stuff to do, so I probably won't come back till next set of challenge leagues, I think.
Oh, you're not gonna do the next 1 month?
Is there actually going to be another one?
Yeah, as far as I know, they're making one more 1 month before the next challenge league.
Right. Depending on timing, as long as it's after my exams, I'll definitely be up for that. As long as I've got nothing else that I need to do.
Lucera is asking, do you think for a new player who started during this Rockies League that it's going to be easier for like a new player to race the next league?
If you can handle this league, you can definitely handle anything else. Like the Beyond in this league is crazy. It makes it really difficult.
Yeah, that was one of the things I didn't really like. That it kind of feels like a Beyond dominated league. Every rotation pretty much has Beyond on it. How do you feel about that?
I didn't realize at the time, but yeah, obviously once the weekend ended, I realized it was still Beyond, and I thought that was a bit weird. I mean, especially because after that weekend being so crazy, you probably ripped, right? Like that was a crazy weekend, and you'd want to re-level and not have to go through that again, but it was still Beyond, so you were kind of punished for dying, because having to re-level with Beyond is horrible.
How many close calls did you have? Like, say your last 5 levels? Like, were you almost dying quite a lot and you feel like you shouldn't be alive, or were you playing it pretty safe and you had a good run?
I'll actually tell you one funny thing. The last 5%, I was running a courtyard. It was elemental weakness, and I forgot to swap the purity of elements. So that was pretty funny.
Oh my god. So if a bad Beyond spawn, what was your cold resist
Well,
capped, or?
no, like without purity of elements, I'm like 30 something under cap.
Oh wow.
So, and I killed a few volatiles on my way there.
Wow. So if one exploded next to you, or if a host spawned and
Yeah.
got a bad hit on you, you'd be gone.
Yeah.
That would have been rough. That was on 95%?
Yeah, that was like 95. But I have multiple close calls a day. I mean, I am solo. I've got no defensive elemental auras, anything like no purity, no enfeeble. I can only fit 10 chains in. So it's definitely very rippy.
Magic Terminal is asking how many times you ult to 4. Like, how many times do you have to log out to survive?
Usually when I alter 4, it's a positioning thing. But with Bameth, the Val DD, because it goes through all my defenses, it can instantly kill me. So there'll be times where I'm running a map and I've just, like with a shrine, when I dominate my maps with shrines, there'll just be a billion mobs, and then Bameth will spawn. And I know I've got a few seconds to either get out or log, because he'll just blow me up instantly.
Yeah, I know a couple, like Kane, he was like number 8 on the ladder, he got destroyed by Bamet, and a couple other players as well.
Yeah.
Custard Hash is out saying, well played Steel, how many times did you rip before this final character?
That was my day 1 character.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. Gadget Geek TV is asking, did you do the trading yourself, or did you have someone else do it for you?
The guy I had streaming my 100, Stevens, whatever, he did all my trading for me since like day 3 or 4 when I was pushing against Rise.
Yeah,
Saved
it definitely
me, like,
helps.
a lot of time. I also had my guild, looking at to buy chisels maybe when he was offline, I'd get somebody else
Hmm.
to sell my like multiple exalt items just to get those sold.
So Eatfolk
So
is asking, what are you studying in university?
I'm studying computer science.
Alright, same as me. I graduated last
Yeah.
year. So how do you feel that this has affected your university?
Not so good. I mean, I have a test on Friday, so see how that goes.
So, how do you feel Poison Arrow helped you win? Like, do you think you would have done just as well with any other build? Like, was it more about how you played, or did the build help a lot?
Usually I play with a group in my guild, but no one was playing this 1 month other than no one was pushing this 1 month, I should say. So I ended up having to pick a solo orientated build, and I settled with Poison Arrow. I do think Poison Arrow is probably one of the best, if not the best, solo build because it does have that capability to curse with the 5 link chest.
How
And
quick? Oh, sorry, carry on.
I was just gonna say like it also just scales so strong in solo play. Like as a party build, I think it's horrible. Like I when I was playing that last 1% with Steven, I noticed like Poison Arrow did not scale well in a group play at all. Like it really is a bad group build, but solo, like it's amazing. It is definitely top 5 solo builds in the game right now for sure.
And do you feel like it's an overpowered build solo right now, or do you feel like it's balanced compared to all their builds currently in the game?
I think it's definitely OP for solo play. I mean, but that the weakness of having no group synergy, like no curses, no auras other than defensive auras, no Val skills other than the Val Lightning Trap, which I already run. I mean, it's got no synergy with other builds, so
Hmm.
I think that's kind of a major drawback.
Do you
I
feel like
feel
it's
like if
pretty
there
hard
was
to survive with the build?
it's got its weaknesses. I
Yeah.
think the way Havoc built it with the Colm's Heart helps your elemental like spells. Like for example, Bameth would instantly kill me, right?
Hmm.
But Havoc might have that extra 2k HP that would soak it.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
Coil is good for physical damage, but it doesn't do anything against elemental spells.
So how quickly did you get the +3 bow and your coil?
I got a Voltaxic drop in Sun day 1, so like, I don't know, pretty early on, So I actually traded that for a coil, which was very lucky.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And yeah, the +3 bow, like, I can't remember it was a few days in there. It wasn't like day 1 or 2
Mhm.
or whatever.
And how early did
But
you
yeah,
get a 21 poison arrow?
that was my first corrupt. That was luck. That was
Wow.
pure luck. I had multiple leveling. They all bricked, of course, but the
Hmm.
first one, which was the 20 quality one,
Oh,
went +1.
that's pretty good. So Eatfolk
Yeah.
is asking, are you going to crash and sleep for as long as you feel like?
I'll definitely resume a normal sleeping pattern from now on. Like it'll be good to sleep 8 hours a day. I'll say that.
And there's another question. Did you ever play while you were slightly drunk? And are you going to get drunk now?
No alcohol. I think I would have died.
Yeah. How long does it take you to clear them up? And how many maps do you do per hour?
It depends on the level of the map. With Poisoner, because it's a degen, like an 82 map will take significantly longer than say a 77 or 79 or 78, around there. I'd say my damage as is good enough to clear 79s, but 80 plus I think I'd need a level 4 in power or hidden potential. I'm actually not running hidden potential, which is why Havoc was able to clear those 80 plus maps so much better.
So,
I imagine.
once you were level 99, were you focusing on 80, 81 maps? Or 82s? Or were you like going down in levels and just playing it super safe because you had such a big lead?
I was playing it super safe for sure. I still ran a few of my higher maps, but only because all my 79s ended up turning into 81s and 80s, so I had to run them because I was out of 79s.
Alright, so what is your map pool now that you're actually done? Is it still decent or are you pretty much out?
I gave away a few maps, so it's I'm missing like 10 maps or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely diminished a lot. I was running them with no damage mods at the very end, because I was super nervous about ripping. So my map pool is definitely diminished. I've got 780 maps, 381s and 282s.
Wow, very
And
nice.
pretty much nothing else. I got 78s, but yeah, no
Yeah.
79s.
So, Lord Smith is asking, are you going to use the prize as a computer or a paperweight? So, are you excited about winning this computer?
I don't even know what it is, to be honest.
Fair enough. You'll have to update it on that.
Yeah.
Let's see what other questions are. How many hours a day were you playing?
The first day... Oh, well. See, I have to refer to it in sessions, right? The
Mhm.
first session was 35 hours. The
Yeah.
second session was about 30, and the one after that was about 35, 34. After that, I think I was going about 20 hours, but I had less sleep at that point. So the 35-hour sessions, I was sleeping 8 hours, and the 20-hour sessions, I was sleeping 4 hours.
Oh, that's pretty efficient.
Yeah.
Ruzai TV is asking, did you bother to level your masters at all?
I leveled them to 6 with some of them, but no, I pretty much stopped. Like, I didn't run any Hakus, any Katarinas, Furichis. I ran a few Furichis, but not too many. It's just a waste of time, especially when, my GM, he's got all level 7 masters. I just got him to craft anything.
Okay, but don't you feel like you're missing out on a lot of XP from Haku missions, since they're always a +1?
I've done, like, they're so rippy though, like,
Suppose,
I don't know,
yeah, I don't really have that problem since I'm Cyclone, but I guess with your physical mitigation it would be a bit scary with all the rocks and stuff.
my physical mitigation is not too bad with taste. I'm more
Mhm.
worried about, like, Ice Nova missions and stuff
Alright,
like
yeah.
that.
Eat Fox asking, did you consider running any other build, and if you had to race with not PA, what would your second choice be?
SRS, for sure. Like, if I could play with a group, it would be SRS. SRS is like, it can synergize with so many builds, like pretty much any build in the game. Even Poison out to an extent, just with Vile Haste movement speed, right?
Mhm.
And it's got insane single target, which would be excellent for the Exiles, the Beyond bosses, the Invasion bosses. It's a really good build.
And Seven Actic is asking, did you buy or craft the +3 bow?
I bought the +3 bow, and I 6-linked it with 1500 fusings at the bench.
Yeah, I'm about to do the same actually.
Yeah.
Quicksilver is asking, why did you not stream the race, and will you consider streaming future races if possible?
I don't have the net. I'm from Australia, and the net's just not that good here. So I just couldn't stream. Otherwise, I would have.
Lord Smith is asking, do you live at home or with housemates? If so, what do your parents/housemate think of these huge gaming sessions?
I live at home at the moment. Um, I live in like a separate building out in the back, so I guess I can just sort of do what I want, and it's all right. As long as I'm going to uni, it's all right.
I take it you didn't go to uni during the race.
No, I was actually really sick for the first week of the race, like legitimately sick. So I probably wouldn't have gone anyway for that day.
Mhm. Did you ever have a period where you woke up and you just felt really grim, so you went back to sleep for a few more hours?
There was one time, yeah. I think the third session, I wanted to sleep for 4 hours. I ended up sleeping for like 6 or 7.
Yeah, it gets like that. Magic Terminal is asking, how many hours did you use from 99 to 100?
I think it was about 30.
30 hours, wow.
Yeah, it was quite slow because I was playing it, really really safe.
Yeah. And I take it if someone was like closer to you in levels, you'd be pushing harder maps and slightly riskier?
Definitely, I wouldn't have slept after Havoc. Well, if Havoc didn't rip, I wouldn't have slept for like 10 more hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have been pushing my higher maps, and I would have been rolling them with damage mods. I would have had to.
Yeah. I'm sad I didn't able to give you better racing challenge there, but got pretty unlucky early game on the RNG.
Yeah, and as you know, I got really lucky with my
Yeah.
maps.
Yeah, how much do you feel that RNG helped you win the race? Do you feel like it was mostly skill, mostly RNG, or a bit of both?
Bit of both, but I mean, I wouldn't have even bothered pushing if I hadn't have gotten the luck in the first place, right? I
Hmm.
probably would have just given up and attended to that uni work, right? But I got the plus one on my poison arrow. From there, like, and the Voltaxic so early on that I traded for the coil, like, it doesn't. It's not really RNG trading an item for an item, but
Yeah.
as you know, Voltaxics are like 1x right now, and the coils are 4. Like it was a very lucky trade for me. I think the guy just wanted the Voltaxic early.
Custer Hazard is asking, did you unlock all the armor set for the challenges?
Yeah, I did. That was definitely a big reason to start playing the race for sure. I love the armor. I don't have too many MTXs, so
Hmm.
it's nice to have another one.
Yeah, that's good. Personally, I'm pretty excited about the Demigod. It's gonna be my first. So do you have any like big reflections? Like, have you learned a lot that you're gonna carry on into future races?
Um, uh, not too much. I mean, I just got really lucky. I played a lot. I mean, the big difference between say you and me right now is probably just map RNG, right? Like,
Hmm.
yeah. I didn't.
Well, I was
I guess
pretty
I
unlucky with
applied
my weapon as well.
that too. Definitely, yeah. That affect. Like, for example, if you had crafted your weapon and I hadn't have gotten my plus one on my poison arrow,
Hmm.
yeah, situation would have been reversed.
Yeah, I still think Poison Arrow clears a lot faster than Cyclone though.
Definitely.
And I kinda
In
need a
solo
support,
play,
which is sorta sucks for me right now.
yeah.
Eat
I
focus.
will
Sorry,
say.
carry on.
I was just gonna say, like, I do think you're gonna handle. Let's say you had gotten the axe, you would have been able to handle the higher maps much better than
Hmm.
me. Like, I did struggle in 80 plus maps a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like until recently, I like my entire 95 was pretty much 76 maps, which is I think I used something like 30 hours leveling up on 76 maps.
Yeah.
It's all about those cartos. Now, about cartos, how did you roll them? Do you have any tips for other players?
I just chaos spam them. I'm not like they're so rare now, and they've changed them so much that I just chaos them for chest level. I'd say chest level is by far the most important mod because every tier of a map pretty much doubles the value of the map.
Hmm.
Like 77s are way better than 76s, 78s are way better than 77s, and so on. So you really want chest level because the quantity. I guess that's another thing. You want to make sure you are alching your maps, right? Because quantity on the map affects the
Yeah.
cardo. So you want to make sure you're running high quantity maps as well. But yeah, just chest level is the most important thing.
Well, Weasel earlier remarked that, for example, if you get a +3 chest level, but you don't get any additional items, it's pretty, like, there's a big chance that the box won't drop any good maps. Which actually happened to me yesterday. I got a +3 and a 79, and it dropped no 82s. They only dropped 181.
Yeah, I had chest level and an extra item
Yeah.
on my second cardo, and it didn't drop like anything.
Oh,
But
really?
my first one only had +3, and that was the one that paid out. So
Oh, wow. Okay. So,
I feel like the chest level it just enables the maps to drop. Like it's kind of like you were doing an 82. Like let's say it drops 10 maps, right? It's just like having 1080 maps drop in a level 82 map. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So in theory, like let's say you're running your 82s, you could just get really bad RNG and get 10 crappy maps in a row, right? And that's kind of what I imagine happened for you and
Yeah.
me.
I did all my 80s without getting any pluses or minuses.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Was there any bosses that you like would never do, you refuse to do, stuff like that? And how important do you feel like bosses are for maintaining your map pool?
I never did Malformation Piety. I'm sure I could have done it on a Poison Arrow character, because kiting is the name of the build, right?
Hmm.
But I've just never killed it before, so I didn't have the balls to do it.
Alright. Any other boss you
But
skipped? Like, for example, for me, the Palace Dominus is undoable without support. But I take it that's pretty easy for Poison Arrow.
I didn't run too many Palace maps. I'd say I ran like 5 or something like that. and they were all towards the very end. You know, after Havoc had died. So I skipped the boss just because I didn't want to. There was no point risking it.
Yep.
With that being said, like, it is super important to kill the bosses. Like, they give you like half your map pool or something like that. I find, especially a lot of your like +1s and +2s come from bosses.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Ida Falk is asking, how old are you?
I turned 21 in like a week, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, 10 days from now.
Yeah. So if you do have time to play in the next 1 month, are you going to play more casual, or are you going to actually compete and defend your title?
If I have someone in the guild who wants to push ladder, I'll definitely, I'll play a lot. But I don't think I'm gonna do this solo again.
Mm-hmm. And how important do you feel like having someone trade for you? It's like, do you think you would have been okay getting to level 100 first if you didn't have someone do all the trading for you?
Nah, that was. It saved me days. I would have to say it literally saved me days because you need like thousands of chisels, thousands of chaos, thousands of alts, thousands of. You just need like disgusting amounts of currency, and you need to ship. You need to sell so many items to get that amount of currency. So like no way, and converting just buying chisels, it takes so much time.
And
So
how was your item RNG, like, to give you currency? Like, were you lucky with the uniques to get things to sell, or were you forced to sell maps to get currency?
I just sold both. Yeah, like I feel like a lot of uniques drop like T1s and T2s. So they give you like something like 5x a day, something like that on average, just uniques alone. Like, I actually want to point out, I don't pick up any rares. I don't think I've picked up rares since I was level 90. Like, not a single rare. Maybe just amulets and rings and belts, that's it. So I've only been picking up uniques and maps, and that's been able to sustain my currency pool this whole time, pretty much.
Yeah.
Div cards as well. A few div cards are worth an X, like the comms one and the Celestial Justicar.
Yeah, no, that definitely slowed me down a lot because I was looting to try to get more alterations for the axe. Let's see. Stammo was asking, how many times did you sleep in the last 11 days, would you say?
Honestly, I can't remember. Probably half as much as I, would be supposed to,
Yeah.
So probably like 5.
Wow. Quicksilver is asking, your PA build was very similar to Havoc's in Tempest. Is this where you got the inspiration from? And now that you are level 100, would you change anything with the build, or are you happy with it as it is?
My decision to play PA was very last minute. Like, I wasn't gunning for 100 or anything. I just wanted a really strong solo build because I knew no one else in my guild was pushing ladder or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I pretty much just googled Poison Arrow Havoc and there was his build. Like, it was
Nice.
that simple. So I don't even know what I would change with the build at the moment, to be honest. I really haven't had much time to reflect on it other than, 1 or 2 passive points here and there as I needed. But as far as I'm aware, it's a really solid build. Like, it's been really fleshed out quite well.
So it's a build you would recommend to other players?
Definitely. I think one thing to note is it utilizes flasks so well. Like, you can keep up Taste of Hate all the time. It'll always be up when you need it.
And how noob friendly do you feel the build is? Like, do you feel this is something someone who's just started the game could pick up and do, or do you feel like they should be a more experienced player before they try Poison Arrow?
Honestly, I mean, you kind of need a +3 bow. You don't need a +3 bow, but it gives you like so much damage, and it's not a common item.
Mm-hmm.
It's a multiple exalt item. It's not going to be easy to get.
But I meant more on a skill-based requirement. Like, do you think this is something a new player can do, or is it like you need sick Twitch reactions?
I mean, if you play slow, play safe, it's an excellent build because you can just shoot the cloud and run away. So in that regard, you can just shoot and run away. You don't have to be anywhere near the dangerous stuff, as opposed to something like Cyclone, where you have to know when you have to know what's going to kill you before you can actually Cyclone. So yeah, it's a hard question. It depends on your playstyle, you know.
Definitely. SSX1 is asking, did you feel the pressure from others near your experience level at points in the race?
Um, yeah, definitely. Like people are asking how I guess how I stayed up so much, and people calling me a robot and stuff. That was kind of that was kind of it, right? Like I was racing
Mhm.
against a person, like we were so close. You know, the only difference between me and Rise was sleep, essentially. Rise was saying he's technically rank 1 because he's got sleep on me. But at that point, I was saying to myself, not if I don't give you that sleep, right?
Yeah.
So
So
it was
how
just
happy were you when Raze died, when Havoc died? Like, what was your reaction?
when I woke up after Pulp and Rise had died, I had the biggest grin. It was pretty great. I felt like I'd killed Rise because when he woke up, and ripped. He said he was feeling a bit groggy because it was his first map of the day.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
Eatfuck is asking, what's the most expensive thing, like the most expensive single item you sold or found?
Um. Honestly, it was a lot of. I mean, there's nothing that valuable anymore, to be honest. I mean, combs and hedgy stuff, I guess.
Hmm.
6 to 8 exalts, but everything else is like I found 2 Mjolnirs, 2 Wind Rippers, you know, and they only sell for like 2 exalts now. It's kind of weird. Like I did find a few tier 1 uniques, but they were all like 2 exalts, so
Yeah. Oh, you
it
only
didn't
found
feel
two pure
so.
exalts?
No, I found like 8 exalts.
Wow,
I
I
found like
found
one a
one,
day.
dude.
I will say last time I got 100, I only found like 2 exalts. One on the
Hmm.
first day, one on the last day.
Wow,
And this was like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. But yeah, this time around it was one a day, which
that's
was
pretty
pretty good.
insane.
Yeah.
Mr. Dr. Professor Lloyd is asking, did the guy who was selling for you take a cut, or was he just doing it to help you push 100?
He's, I asked people in my guild to help me out with trading, and he stepped up. So at the time, it was I was pushing against Rise, so it was purely just to help me push against Rise, you
Hmm.
know, and Pulp. I felt like it was really intense that race against me, Rise, and Pulp. So yeah, like everyone in the guild wanted to help out, and he really stepped up to the plate.
Hmm. So you feel like your guild helped you get 100 a lot?
Definitely, like they didn't necessarily just give me a bunch of currency. I think he ended up 89, but at the time he was like 70, maybe even
Hmm.
lower than that. So they weren't like farming currency for me
Yeah.
like Havoc's teammates or anything like that. But they were definitely converting my currency and selling all my hard to sell items like the Wind Ripper, the Mjolnir. You know, it's hard to find buyers for that. As well as selling my maps. Like that was a big like dominating every map cost 10C, right?
Yeah.
So it's thousands of chaos, right? And the way I did that is essentially selling maps. You know, I think by the end of it, my friend ended up being called the map guy because he was pushing, hundreds of maps a day.
Yeah, that's another question I wanted to ask. How do you feel about domination versus ambush?
I think if you need to sustain your map pool, ambush is 100 times better. But as far as just pure XP goes, you want to use domination, because of course the buffs, make you go faster, and you don't have to bother with rolling it, so you don't stop and roll the box, for like a minute. Especially if you have to leave the map to get more ults, like it's a huge waste of time.
Mhm. Magic Terminal is asking, what is your chaos damage and were you clearing, like, how is your clear speed compared to Havoc? I don't know if you watched Havoc play at all.
I wasn't actually able to, like, I just don't have the time to sit there and watch a stream, unfortunately, for very long. But I imagine Havoc has definitely got better poison damage than me. I was at 23.5k, 24k with Rallying Cry.
Hmm.
I have no idea what Havoc's is, but I'm pretty sure it would be better thanks to hidden potential and all the blue items he was running. The reason I wasn't running the blue items is because I felt I needed the extra life, the chaos res. I was just playing it really safe. But yeah, like I said, I do think Havoc would have, he had much more clear speed. He was able to do those 80 plus maps and get 40 mil XP an hour. I really struggled with those higher maps. I was actually getting similar XP in my 77, 78 maps compared to my like 81s,
Hmm.
just because it took so much longer to clear.
And what was your biggest WTF moment during the race?
I had so many. Um, Pretty much every single time Mammoth spawned, because they were always on. Like I actually found out, now that I think about it, like a day or two after, when I was dominating those maps, they all were so rippy
Hmm.
because they would always spawn a boss every single
Yeah.
shrine, and when they did, like for example, Mammoth, it would be on an entire shrine's worth of corpses, and he would blow that up, and if I was in the wrong spot, I would die.
Hmm.
So that was always a like runaway or log out situation. Um, yeah, and sometimes as well with Haas, like if I didn't have my pot up, my flask of taste of hate at the time, I probably would have died,
Yeah.
which is kind of scary to think about. Actually, the day after Onslaught ended on the weekend, everything felt so slow as well. So I was just kind of taking it easy with the Lightning Beyond boss, and I didn't realize at the time, but I was actually stacking all of his storm calls. So when they went off, I nearly died instantly, which was pretty silly. Like as far as I'm aware, it could have been phase acrobatics that saved me from dying. Like there's so many close calls. I
What
definitely
was
feel
your
very
closest
lucky.
call? Like, what's the lowest you went?
I will say I don't think I went below 1,000 too often. Like maybe once or twice.
Hmm.
It was more positioning, like, and of course, like I said once again, with dodge and acrobatics, it is totally RNG. Like
Yeah.
maybe the difference between me dying was just pure acrobatics, pure luck basically. But yeah, honestly, it was more so positioning. Like if I had been standing next to that rare, it probably would have killed me with volatile. If I had been, a foot closer to Vol when he smashed me, I would have died. Like I nearly walked up to Vol and got smashed, just in Wasteland. So I definitely feel like
Yeah.
it was more just I lived or died based on that situation, but my HP didn't necessarily drop at the time.
Now that you're 100, would you consider ripping your character or doing crazy things, or are you just gonna stop playing completely?
I was actually going to contact GGG and ask if I rip after I'm 100, do I still get the prize? I think I do.
I am pretty sure you do. I think it
Yeah,
says, let me bring the letter up here. It says, dead hardcore players are eligible for all prizes.
yeah. So I was actually considering hitting 100 and spamming the court's for Forbidden Taste Flask. Just to be funny.
Yeah, because I know that when I get level 100, I'm going to try to do Malachi in core.
Good luck with that. I've got a friend who's killed it in hardcore. It was not easy.
Yeah, I definitely need some volunteer cursor for that. Let's see, just going through the questions here. Aculus, yes, still played solo. What made you choose Poison Arrow? Was it because you had to play alone, or what was your
It
choices
was
there?
definitely it was definitely because I had to play alone. Like it's just such a strong solo build, right?
Hmm.
I the bit like I said once again, I think curses are super important, and while you're after you shot the cloud, you're free to curse. Like you don't need to attack again, so you can kind of support yourself in that way. You're
Yeah,
also able to run
that's something I wanted to
pure.
ask you about. So you linked me, you were running a Deidre's Damning as well.
Yeah, as soon as the weekend started with Onslaught, I knew I would probably die if I didn't have something else to keep me alive. So I decided to get the double curse set up with my res and run dual curse with temp chains.
So do you have Curse on Hit or Curse for Damage Taken?
I actually have both. I definitely feel like I need both.
Hmm.
Like they're gonna be times when I need to cast it manually on a boss because the only time Vol's gonna hurt me is when he's about to one shot me, for example. So I need the curse on him all the time.
Hmm.
There's other times where I'm gonna walk around the corner and just get charged by mobs or whacked by mobs, and I'm not gonna have cursed them. So that's when I need the custom damage taken. So I actually have both.
Um, let's see. Quicksilver is noting, like, with the map changes that they did for this league, did you notice the increased grind at the higher levels, or was it offset by, like, all the mods and the extra experience from all the Beyond mobs?
Sorry, what was that?
Like, obviously they lowered the XP from the higher level maps in this patch. Did you notice the increased grind at higher levels, or was that completely offset by the extra shrine, the extra strong box, and the beyond spawns?
I will say I hit 97 in Tempest, and I never really managed to do very many high level maps.
Mhm.
So I never really experienced that, 3% XP a level per 82 that, I've heard they gave at the time. But I feel like just because my damage wasn't very high, I couldn't even really run 82s, 81s efficiently. Like I said, the experience difference between a 78, 79, and 80 was all very, very similar because the mobs got tankier and more dangerous. So, for the most part, I was just running low level maps, and I guess because I was running them so fast, it felt fine. I guess
So what was your favorite map of all time, and what is your least favorite map?
Arid Lake and Springs, especially Arid Lake. I love Arid Lake. Like I can clear an Arid Lake in like 90 seconds or something dumb. You just run around this. Obviously, I don't necessarily full clear all my lower maps,
Mhm.
so they're gonna be stuff alive. But because of the Beyond as well, you can just shoot a cloud, like just run around the very center of the lake, shoot a cloud around the edge, and the map will be clear, and the Beyond will die, and you'll. Like I was actually getting like 25 million XP an hour. I didn't realize at the
Wow,
time that Arid Lake would be that good, but
that
Arid
is
Lake was
crazy.
that good. But at this point, I'd already sold them also.
So you favor Arid Lake over Gorge? Like I know a lot of people have Gorge as their favorite map.
Yeah, I actually would, just because you can, like with Gorge, the reason people like it is because it's just a straight line.
Yeah.
But you still have to run the entire distance of the map. With Arid Lake, if you don't mind not full clearing it, you can just sort of run around the center of the map real quick. So you can sort of clear Arid Lake, 75% of Arid Lake in like 90 seconds as opposed to 100% of Gorge in like 2.5 minutes.
When you were building your map pool, like how often would you say you were clearing the map fully, and like would you say it was more than 20 monsters in every map you were leaving, or?
When I was trying to build up my pool, like I would definitely full clear the map.
Mhm.
There'd be less than 20 every time because I knew if there was less than 20, chances are I've missed more than one pack.
Yeah,
And
but at
yeah,
the end, I
definitely
take
very
it there
often.
were more than 20.
Yeah, like in pretty much every single map after my pool was good, there was more than 20 because
Mhm.
it doesn't make sense to spend a minute looking for one pack if you don't need the map that bad. Like it's super super inefficient to full clear a map if you have to go all the way back to the start to that like corner. Like in Academy for example, like sometimes you miss the very start of the map, but you're on the other side of the map at the time. So at that point, if you need the map, go. If you don't need the map that bad, just leave.
If you were in a party for this league, like the Rockets League, would you, you mentioned earlier about SRS, like what build would you have gone? SRS or another build?
My favorite build is support, pure support. But yeah, it would have been SRS or support. Party play is just so strong. Like I said, if Mofo wasn't trading for me or Steven wasn't trading for me,
Mhm.
I wouldn't have had currency to map at all. Like it would have been a real struggle, and I feel like partying offsets that so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have definitely gone one of those two builds and focused on party play entirely.
So Samlock is asking, did you ever do group play, or was it just more efficient to level solo? I mean, at the end, I know you were definitely solo, but early on, did you have any people to level with, or?
Yeah, more so for fun. Like I do race a lot, so I do think it wouldn't have mattered too much. But I did party with some guildies at the start of the
Mhm.
race.
Now, how important do you feel like the first day is? For example, I know personally I was 15 levels below the number one, which was who was number 8 up, I think. But I was ages below for like the first 2 days, and then climbed the ladder. How important do you feel like the first, like the early game is towards your ladder ranking?
It's more important for currency.
Hmm.
You do want to get to Merciless and start mapping as soon as possible, but like I was really far behind too because we were in the group I was playing with. We weren't all like pro racers or anything. Obviously, I know how to race, but not all of them did, and we were all scions,
Hmm.
so it was pretty awful leveling. and obviously it didn't matter in the end, right? So,
Yeah.
but I will say day one you have to get to maps, like otherwise you know you're not going to be able to generate as much currency as the top guys because you're not going to be selling. Like you want to be the guy selling items to the other people. You don't want to be buying items off everybody
Hmm.
and struggling to make currency.
How do you feel? Do you feel it would be different if this was a 3 month? Because obviously the economy in a 1 month and then 3 month with the base of or the amount of players and the way items are gonna sell is gonna be hugely different. How do you feel that would have changed things?
Hugely, like Atop was saying, it was super hard for him to generate currency, and it was super hard for me to generate currency as well.
Hmm.
You know, items don't sell that quickly, especially
Yeah.
on XYZ.
Yeah,
That's why I
especially
had to,
like item level 83 items. It's really hard to sell in a 1 month.
yeah, like I sold very little item level gear, just a few Varlaxes. Not, I still have some, and they won't sell. So
So Aniso is asking, is a mortal person able to level up to level 100 by himself, or is it necessary to have a guild? Like lots of people having your back.
if you don't mind just leveling a bit slower, like it didn't get unreasonably expensive until I started putting domination.
Hmm.
And as far as chisels go, let's say you were playing in a 3 month, you'd always be able to buy chisels. So definitely, you could definitely level to 100 solo. I'd say the bigger problem there is you're probably going to die. It's much safer to play in a party. Like I definitely got here with a bit of luck for sure.
Gnu is asking, did you level PA from the start, or did you use another skill to level up early on?
I just used Flame Totem to level up with Incinerate. I hear Firestorm's good too. I just never tried it, so I didn't want to experiment.
Hmm.
But yeah,
So you went
I
with
switched to
tried
Poison.
and trusted methods.
Yeah, I felt like my single target at the time was really lacking, so I just whacked on Incinerate. But yeah, I switched to Poisoner at around level 70. That's when I was able to craft my +2 bow. I think you can swap a lot earlier than that. It's just I wasn't able to get my +2 bow crafted until then.
Let's see, looking through the questions here. Is it more efficient XP wise in a group or solo?
Definitely in a party. Wild Haste is such a big deal.
Hmm.
And Curses, like, a support build will not only disable the mobs, but it'll be built around having synergies with your party members, so it's going to increase your clear speed immensely as well. Like Generosity Hatred is so strong. Haste Aura is almost never run, which is why I like SRS characters because they're able to run it.
Yeah.
And of course file skills. So I do think party plays better. I just think like after people ended up dying, like I don't even know why I'm the one who hit rank 1, to be honest. It's very weird. I think that it's very weird that a solo player was able to hit rank 1. I don't know. It is super weird. I don't think I would have been able to do it without my guild. So I mean, it's technically not 100% solo. Like I didn't do all my trading, for
Yeah.
example. But it is super weird that there was almost no group play for me.
Um, Masonic is asking for softcore league. Would you recommend using hidden potential or dual curse?
I'd have to ask why not both.
Okay, fair enough. Safarians is asking, looking back now that you're a level 100, is there anything else you would have done differently when leveling?
Um, Not level with a grip of scions. That was horrible. Definitely solo or get carried by someone who's playing, a proper, Templar Flame Totem, Witch Flame Totem build, not just a bunch of scions who were really struggling. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what like leveling gear you could use at the time. I didn't think too much about leveling. I just picked the build and ran with it.
Let's see, just looking through all the questions. See, did you link me your build anywhere so I can post it in chat?
I can link it in Mumble. I think I linked it in chat, but it got deleted. Hang on.
Okay. Right,
That's
you
just
have
my profile
permissions now.
there.
You can link it yourself actually.
Yeah,
That's
I've just
different.
linked it to my profile and my character. By
Great.
default, it should be my poison arrow character.
Someone asked earlier, did you ever kill Atsiri or bother with Atsiri either this league or before? Like, is that something you've done?
I've killed it zero in the past. I spent one league farming her for a bit.
Hmm.
But this time around, like at the time, I think I was like rank 3 or something like that. I can't remember. I didn't really want to. It just wasn't my goal at the time.
Yeah.
So I just didn't bother. But I definitely could have. Like I got my taste of hate and lightning coil extremely early on. I was very lucky to trade my Voltaxi for a coil, and I got the taste of hard by buying the cards relatively cheap at the time. So I was geared enough to do it zero at the time. I just, like I said, it wasn't my goal.
Um, Magic Terminal is asking, like, because you weren't able to stream, did you record anything, and are you able to post some YouTube videos showing off your playstyle in maps?
I did get my friend to stream the last 1%, but like a lot of deaths in Path of Exile are computer-related issues, so I just haven't tried recording
Hmm.
it yet because I don't want something weird to happen, like frame rate or
Is that something you
some
might consider
program.
doing the next league, since you can't stream?
Um, maybe, yeah. I mean, yeah. Like this time around, I definitely wasn't planning on hitting 100, so I didn't. I just didn't bother. But I guess if I actually push, I certainly might try in the next challenge league.
Hmm.
See what happens.
Boss Error Gaming is asking, can we have a Zizaran versus Steel PvP match?
I have no idea how that would happen, how that would go down. But yeah, sure, we can do it.
Yeah, I wonder who's gonna get the bad ping. Wuz is asking, would you prefer having a no XP limit and continue the ladder race after 100 compared to what it is now?
I I don't know. That sounds really brutal, to be honest. I really like that there's a finish line. But I guess last 1 month that I played, the finish line was. It almost wasn't a proper like finish line. No one had hit 100 in a month before, so it almost felt like there was unlimited XP in that regard, like unlimited level.
Hmm.
But this time around, it was the fastest to do it, right? Like everyone knew someone would do it in 2 weeks. So I don't know.
Um,
I will say it's definitely too quick right
yeah, I
now.
was about to say there was another 10 levels, how do you feel your map pool is looking? Do you think you would struggle if there was another 10 levels to do with the same scaling?
I wouldn't have run my maps blue for
Hmm.
starters. I mean, my map pool as Havoc died was like it was like 40. It was either 35 or 45. I can't remember. 79 plus maps. Like, it was
Jesus.
enormous.
So is
So
this the biggest map pool you've ever had in a league?
yeah, like that. It was a huge pool. I got lucky. I had the Cardos at that day as well. It was an enormous pool. I just wouldn't have run them blue, right? Like,
Hmm. How many
yeah,
cartos did you get? Was it one just, or?
it was two.
Okay.
I got the one on that day and one just after, like I think 1 or 2 days after. And that one didn't give me anything. It was a pretty bad cutter.
So, you mentioned earlier you didn't have any like 100 life rips, but do you have any favorite stories where you almost died?
I'd say the Purity of Elements one that
Hmm.
I mentioned before was definitely one, but uh, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head other than the ones I've already mentioned.
Yeah. Quicksilver is asking, why did you not run Hidden Potential with Poison Arrow?
Like I said, at the time, before Havoc started really pushing, I just didn't feel like I needed the damage. I felt like I was ahead enough that I could just run lower level maps and be fine. But as Havoc was pushing, I was considering it for sure. It was just defensive reasons. That's why. Like I was just playing it really safe. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to run Hidden Potential, for example, with my Curse Ring because of res.
Let's see. Just looking through the questions. How do you feel about the current Temporal League builds meta? Like, how do you feel about the current meta?
It's, I mean, it's better than playing Flame Blast, right? Like, it's better than the burn meta, but it does feel quite strange that it's already so fleshed out. Like, you know, Poison Arrow, SRS, Iron Will builds are quite popular with Incinerate. I don't know. I really don't know how GGG is going to change the meta, if they're even going to.
Is there any build that you wish was viable? Like any skill you really want to use, so you wish GGG would rebalance and make better?
I guess a lot of the old melee skills, right? Like a melee splash, basically. It's not even a skill, right?
Same.
It's a support gem.
Yeah.
Like they killed. It's just horrible. They really need to fix melee splash.
Masonic is asking, for elemental weakness maps, what did you do? Did you turn off your Grace or your AA?
I turned off my Arctic armor.
Yeah. So after this AMA, we'll round it up after a few more questions. Are you just gonna go sleep for like a flat 15 hours?
I'm not gonna sleep like 15 hours or anything like that, but I definitely probably will sleep for like 8. I'm definitely pretty tired, pretty wiped out right now.
Okay, I think that's the majority of the questions. So I just managed to grab my hands on an amethyst potion here for no reason. Let's do that 1v1 and round up the AMA, shall we?
Alright, let's do it.
Okay, I'm not going to bother rolling this thing. Let's see. I would say place your bets, but I have a feeling this is going to be brutal with my Chaos Res. Rip me.
350 ping.
Oh, okay, it's on my server. That's good. That'll give me some advantage.
Rip me.
Oh, snap. Oh, oh, oh! I really should have had a cursing beam potion for this. Oh, that's brittle.
Gains a point. Round 2. Fight.
Oh, I really wish I had brought a cursing beam potion for this. Oh. Yeah, this is
Gains a
brittle.
point. Round 3. Fight.
Oh, damn your clouds, man. Not waiting for my regen at all. Oh. That Arctic armor, man. Oh?
Red team gains
Oh?
a point.
Are you out of potions?
Maybe.
Turn of the tide.
Round 4. Fight.
Yeah, I think I should have had a immune to freezing Quicksilver.
Blue
Oh,
team gains a point.
so brittle.
Round 5.
Last round.
Fight.
Oh, that's brittle. This map is so small! Ah,
Blue team wins.
If you had a curse immune pot, I'd be fucked.
yeah. That was pretty brutal. But that was fun though, that was a good fight. Thank you for attending the AMA, and I'm going to highlight this and post it up on YouTube as well.
Alright.
You can get some well-deserved sleep now.
Will do.
Retired champion.